people who have current priority dates nevertheless not getting interviews, I will take that to answer to say that every embassy and consulate has kind of its own priority date, meaning that even though you are overall in the universe current, if you are interviewing at an embassy in Bangladesh or Nepal, they have even later or earlier priority dates than the official priority date, meaning that because their volume is so high, even though you are eligible to be interviewed, the embassies just don't have the staff to actually do any interviews. And so I think that there is like a disconnect in some countries where people are actually current, but nevertheless aren't getting interviews. And that really is about staffing. Which brings me to a question for you, John. You know, the report came out this weekend that they were basically going to close all the embassies in Africa, basically shut down, fire like 25 or 20% of the officer corps. What did you think of those reports and, and kind of what your old boss, Secretary Rubio, said about them?
Well, it's not exactly pleasant news when you see this coming across the wire. I can guarantee you that. However, the story broke early last week about all this. And, I've seen these efforts happen before. In 2017, President Trump tried to shut down the J-1 program completely. The same reports that came out, they wanted to completely zero out the Bureau of Educational Cultural Affairs, which is where the J-1 program has been housed since as long as I can remember. There are so many members of Congress, both in the House and Senate, that are Republicans, that if they went along with something like this, they would have hell to pay back home. Mm-hmm. I don't see how you can pass an appropriations package. And I don't want to geek out on like government spending procedures, but whether it's an appropriations package or it's passing a CR, if you're keeping the government funded and it's being funded in the way that Congress is asking them to do so, you have a bunch of money that's being appropriated to these departments that are allegedly going to be zeroed out. It's going to be a very interesting set of circumstances moving forward. Not to state the obvious here, but there will be lawsuits. Mm-hmm. And, the president can't be Congress for a day. Right. So if Congress says you must, these are the spending priorities, you're going to put it in these offices, you're going to put it in these departments, mm-hmm. They have to be spent on something. Congress has control of the purse strings, not the president. The president's job is to faithfully execute the law. It doesn't give me any great pleasure to do this to my Republican friends. I got friends in both parties, but for all of the talk over the last 4 years of how President Biden just did his own thing and didn't really care what Congress had to say, it's like, well, what do we do now? Hi, pot. Here's kettle. Have you two met? We're a long way off from having these types of massive changes hit, and it's still going to be a long time before the final adjudications to whether or not these cuts are constitutional, lawful, allowable under the APA, and various other considerations are going to be made. And this is another, Chris, you were asking about trends earlier. There's a lot of trends there's a lot of fireworks that go on, and then everything settles down. You can make yourself really wound up if you just read the headlines and don't see what happens. And just you see something like this, I do what I do. I took a deep breath. I said, all right, we've been here before. We know we still have friends on both sides of the aisle who really care about these programs. This is the opening salvo. And just remember, we're also talking about this in the context of the president's budget. I mean, I've been working in and around DC. I'm going on my 14th year. I have yet to see a president's budget get taken up by Congress. Hey, this is what we're going to do. Congress looks at it and says, all right, great. We're going to do what we do now. I have no reason to believe that inertia is somehow going to change just because it's 2025.